It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across the USA, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I haven't done it in a while. I just happened to say to myself during the top of the hour, let's go just check out some of the Babylon Bees headlines.
Yeah. Right.
Again, they're a parody magazine, but
Right.
Here we go. Clarence the Angel takes Gavin Newsom to Florida to show him what California would be like if he'd never been born.
Oh, that's beautiful in so many ways.
My golly.
Yeah, that is, I love that.
And some of the other ones here. South Pole elves. Now remember, South Pole elves making cheap knockoff toys for half the price.
Those will be tariffed. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, just some brutal, brutal ones. Democrats warn that ban on Islamic immigration may delay global intifada.
Oh, wow. Wow. There's so much in that one headline.
Yeah, they also had the one that
got
a lot of bows in one here. Groundbreaking new study finds Islamophobia may be partially caused by Muslims killing people all the time.
Yeah.
There's a great debate going on that, and it's not part of the thing we saw that the one man, the hero who went after the one guy with the gun.
Yeah.
He was Muslim.
Yeah.
But the fact is, when you see and Bill Maher talked about it, and he didn't say all because it's not all.
Right.
But the fact is, it's way above the average. And if you look at Pew Research a couple years ago did a poll of the Middle East. And when you see what Muslims think, it's frightening. It is not Western value cultures.
Right. Right.
It's not.
Right.
It's not even close. The amount that believe that, but then again, it's moving closer. It's moving closer with Americans, because when you look at how many Democrats now can justify murder.
Yeah. And support Hamas.
It's like, okay, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Muslim thing anymore, does it?
Right.
No.
Right. Well, it's, again, there are so many things right now, I think, in the landscape that are extremely disturbing. And for me, it always comes down to the lack of value in life, for life. And the left has that on full display. And when something like Bondi Beach happens, we said it after October 7th, we know that, again, I've been saying this since then, on one side, radicals, on the other side, everybody else. And when you talk about giving emotional support to the enemy, and I don't know, it's as if they think the enemy's not going to come for them, especially here domestically. I don't know what it was like in Australia. We certainly do know the anti-Semitism is very much alive. I think that's been made very clear, quite unfortunately. But we see, again, this emotional support for the enemy. It goes beyond emotional support. It's, again, cheering them on. And when a healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, is murdered in cold blood, you make a hero of the murderer. It is just a bizarre set of events here, and it all comes back to, and this is what it is for me, on the left, they do not value life from the beginning. They don't.
Power.
Yep.
power and control.
Yep.
Well, we find out, it doesn't matter because when you looked at Osama bin Laden, when you looked at Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, when you looked at so many of these, when you look at the 9/11 terrorists, as I said, with the 9/11 terrorists, said, my God, they experienced more Western vices than I ever have.
Yeah, right. They were at strip clubs in
Right.
the nights before 9/11.
Right.
Right. This is,
it's just when you look, and the pornography and everything else that they found, in Osama bin Laden's, whatever that was, bunker,
Lair.
Lair.
Yeah.
I like Lair. Okay, Lair.
Yeah.
When you look at all that, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, that's like they're not following. They want other people. They will do whatever they can to force other people because that's what you do in order to get power and control.
Well,
you force people to conform.
After there's an interesting a few documentaries about the all the years that it took to find Osama bin Laden and take him out, but also how it all came together, and then the recruiting effort of the birth of Al Qaeda and what they were doing. And again, we've pointed out time and time again that their leaders, they didn't believe that. Muhammad Atta didn't tell all of the hijackers, all of the 19, that was a suicide mission. The recruiting effort in that extremism is anything to get people to do things. Then, with some of them, it is okay if you give your life, you're a martyr. But it's quite often the case that the so-called leaders, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Osama bin Laden, al-Baghdadi, they're running from becoming a martyr. They're running from the danger, and they want others to run toward the danger. Well, that tells you that they don't believe, they don't buy what they're selling in their recruiting efforts. It's power. Over and over again. It's power. And domestically, what we have seen here is the very real, on full display, lack of value in life. They just don't put any value in life from the very beginning. And if that is the case, then you can excuse away a murder of a healthcare CEO in cold blood. You can cheer on the enemy post-October 7th. And that, to me, is so foreign, so far. It's like it's another planet. I just can't wrap my brain around it because there's just no way in the world you can ever justify that kind of hatred, that kind of violence, that extremism absolutely must be stopped. And yet there's a growing number of people, not just here in the States, but across the world, that support it more and more.
Just reading a summary of the latest Pew Research poll from 2025. And this goes, basically the Middle East. Support for making Sharia the official law of the land varies widely by country, while nearly all Muslims in Afghanistan and most in Iraq, 91%, and the Palestinian territories, 83%, favor Sharia law. The support is much lower in countries like Turkey at 12%. But when you're talking about the Palestinian territories, this is what the left in the United States is supporting, an organization that wishes to have Sharia law.
Right. Yeah.
And so when you see, and that's why it's so important. I mean, that's what, that's what we have learned after the killing of the healthcare CEO, the murder, the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw it afterwards. You have a growing number of American liberals, a scary number, that believes murder is an acceptable solution to political differences.
AOC, after the murder of Brian Thompson, she excused it away by saying, you have to understand when people get their claims denied, they see that as an act of violence.
Right. the fact that you believe that, does she even know that what she's saying is, I'm justifying murder because you won't fulfill something outside of a contract?
It is possible she's so stupid that she doesn't understand what she's saying, but that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. There's no debate. You're making an excuse.
Because what you're saying is, if I don't get my way,
right,
murder is the solution.
Right.
Not courts.
Right.
Not civil courts.
Right.
If you believe you've been truly wronged,
mm-hmm.
If you sit there and go, this is in the contract, you have to cover it, well, you can take that to civil court, and you can win a ton of money. You can punish the insurance company if they don't fulfill their contracts.
Right.
But what they're saying is, this is the scary part, even if it's outside the contract, if you don't cover it, if you don't fulfill what I believe you should, not what's mutually agreed to, murder is the solution.
Well, and she elevates it by saying they see it as an act of violence.
Right. Well, that's the immorality.
Right.
The immorality is not, and did she address that, or did she address that as the problem that people think that way, or that's the warning to CEOs?
It sounded like a warning to me. It sounded like excuse making. It sounded like putting an okay stamp on murder.
That's what it sounded like to me. We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
After fuel, an owner-operator's second biggest variable cost is tires. To save, get as much life out of them as possible with good habits. Maintain proper inflation. It's free and easy, yet it's the highest saving maintenance you can perform on the truck. Improper inflation is by far the greatest reason tires fail early. Perform routine maintenance. If a technician can by hand initiate irregular movements in tie rod ends, kingpins, wheel bearings, and torque rods, that spells trouble. Fight irregular wear by replacing suspension components. On the steer axle, change your shocks at least as often as you change your tires. On the drive axle, replace shocks halfway through the tire's life, and when the tires are changed too. Finally, employ good driving habits. You have full control here. More conservative driving over rough surfaces helps reduce wear. Speeding, hard braking, curbing, and tight turns cause tires to wear fast. On the other hand, steady acceleration, braking, and steering can extend the life, saving a bundle. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section on the website for more details on this and many other topics.
Brought to you by Shell Rotella. With advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. That last discussion just reminded me what I saved it, what J.K. Rowling wrote a couple of days ago. If you believe free speech is for you, but not for your political opponents, you're illiberal. If no contrary evidence could change your beliefs, you're a fundamentalist. Come on, let's go here. If you believe the state should punish those with different views, you're a totalitarian. Totalitarian. If you believe political opponents should be punished with violence or death, you're a terrorist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, again, when we looked at the Turtle Island Liberation Front bust, the four individuals.
Yeah.
And it just basically was a hodgepodge of every reason. Their mission statement basically is free everything that is not America, destroy America, and free everything from America, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's basically attack for all reasons, every reason, any reason.
Well, when you start thinking of the whole concept of capitalism, I was thinking about this the other day while I was doing nothing. But capitalism is, as we all know, voluntary exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's voluntary.
Right.
And if you think about it, everything that you voluntarily exchange, your money for another good, most of the things that we have we're satisfied with.
Mm-hmm.
You look at everything that around you and all of that, everything, wherever you are right now, everything you voluntarily bought.
Right.
Nobody coerced you. Nobody, maybe a significant other did. But, besides that, no government entity coerced you to do it.
Right.
Nobody forced you to make the product. Nobody forced you to sell or buy the product. And when it comes down to it, it's a cooperation between individuals in a free society to help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I buy has helped me out.
Yeah.
In some way.
You see a value in it. That's why you take your money and exchange it for that.
But it's helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is, people have no concept. When you talk about, I wonder what they really think about capitalism. And the one thing that boggles my mind, the left for so long has been against a monopoly. Not as much anymore. You don't hear them screaming about monopolies. But they used to be so against monopolies. And now they're for the ultimate monopoly. Liberals want the ultimate monopoly to control everything because the perverted opinion is if we put people in who care, who control everything, they'll do a better job.
Right.
Now, if history has shown that is absolutely false. If one of the things that has been proven over and over and over again, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, every time fails, it's that philosophy.
Yeah.
And yet they're willing to kill for it?
Yeah.
Because it's about power and control.
That's it.
We're the ones, we'll get the power and control. And now, I don't know why these individuals do it. I don't know why anybody born in the United States would do something like that and sit there and say, capitalism is unfair, I'm going to kill people.
Right.
Unless they've been brainwashed all the way through their youth.
Yeah, it would have to be a severe case of brainwashing, which is quite possible.
Well, if you've convinced a significant number of people in this country that a man can be a woman if the man says so and that men should play women's sports, you can convince the idiots of anything.
Well, in the Alvarado ICE facility attack in Alvarado, Texas, over the summer, there's a group of people that had never met each other.
Yeah.
They met online. Yet they were all motivated to that extent.
And what I find interesting is, when you look, for example, everything, we need more gun control. Take the guns away from people. If you believe in the Second Amendment, then you're part of the violence. Excuse me? People that believe that I will have a weapon because I wish to protect life, you're trying to compare that in any way to a murderer? Or somebody who will sit there and look in society, the same people that say gun control are the same people that say it's justified, a significant portion of them are, same ones that say it's justified to kill that CEO.
Right.
There's just zero critical thinking. It's almost as if it's all, Eric, just emotion and rage.
Yes.
With no critical thinking skills, no connecting the dots.
As ultimately a part of a power grab.
Yeah.
They want power. That's what they want.
This holiday season, give the gift of the Red Eye Radio app. Merry Christmas from Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when and where you choose. All right, so some good news, some bad news on the economic front. Payrolls rose by 64,000 in November after falling 105,000 in October. Remember, though, in October, the drastic decrease mainly responsible because of the laying off in the government.
Right, yeah.
The laying off of jobs. And I don't mean the shutdown.
Right.
Okay. And so that you can't look at that and say that is a bad number. Non-farm payrolls growth was up a 64,000 for the month, better than the Dow Jones estimate of 45,000. By the way, I mean this is like in schools, not pass fail, but it was sort of pass fail.
Yeah.
Because it used to be. Eric and I are old enough to remember when what was a good month was 250,000 jobs being created. Right. Now it's like it's over what the experts predicted.
Yeah.
64,000. We're not in a recession with those type of numbers, but it's certainly we're treading ground. So the non-farm payroll growth, 64,000, better than the Dow Jones estimate of 45,000 and up from the sharp decline of 105,000 in October. Unemployment rate rose to 4.6%, more than expected, and its highest level since September of 2021. The establishment numbers show that the gains in November came from a familiar source. Healthcare added 46,000 jobs, accounting for more than 70% of the total net increase.
Healthcare alone added more than what the median forecast had. Yeah. Healthcare added 46, and the median forecast was for 45.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me see here. The October decline marked the third time in 6 months that payroll saw a net negative level. The BLS report also showed that August numbers were revised down 22,000 to show a steeper loss of 26,000, while September's initial count was pushed down by 11,000. When you look at manufacturing, another month. What is it now? 10 months? 9 months? 10 months?
I think it's 10.
10 months now in a row. We've lost 64,000 jobs, net jobs in manufacturing over the last 10 months. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's overall jobs. Let me get to the manufacturing jobs here. Hang on. See here. In January, BLS showed 12.755 million workers in all manufacturing industries. The number rose a few thousand through April when the tariffs began, and then began to fall each month, and in November hit 12,697,000. That's a net loss of 58,000 manufacturing jobs, including 19,000 manufacturing jobs in the last 3 months. So there you go. I saw most of the thought process was that this means they're not going to lower the Fed rate. They're not going to lower it in January.
They, in fact, I think the consensus right now is if they lower at one meeting in 2026, that's probably what most are expecting right now. One more at some point, but they wouldn't put it beyond lowering another measure to lower it beyond that. So I don't think it'll happen in January if that's the case, because the board was split going into this decision this month. So I didn't know what to expect. But if the job situation, again, it depends on what happens between what we learn, I guess, between now and the next meeting. But the consensus right now is everyone's looking at it saying maybe one lowering of rates in 26 that they could count on, that the market could count on. So we'll see. Right now, the target rate, 3.5, between 3.5 and 3.75. I'll have to double check that.
We know now the administration, without question, is really worried about about prices right now. The president's speech, you were just reading it to me, what the president's address in prime time, and the networks may not show it.
Right.
They may not. I'm not, because you're not talking about breaking news. We were wondering, when I first saw it, my first thought was Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came out, no, this is all going to be about the economy and the president's accomplishments over this time.
Right.
And we know.
And previewing something that Levitt made it sound like it's a tease of new policy for 2026. And the question would be, well, what is that? If you're going to announce something, announce it.
Well, I think the Republicans, they are going to move forward on a big, who was it? It was Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Polling, the conservative pollster, who the story was, and I didn't see him deny it. Yeah, right. I was looking for the denial yesterday on it, where he said, Mr. President, you're not doing what your base wants. You've got to hit prices.
Right.
You've got to hit affordability, and you have to come up with a populist economic plan. And then the story was out late last week that the Republicans need to come out with a big, beautiful bill, part 2, that will help people with costs, which means more government subsidies for more Americans.
Yeah, right.
Is not the direction we should be going. But that's where they're going to go because they don't. I believe that's where they're going to go. Hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first to celebrate and say, I was wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't see any way else that you get a hold of doing something immediate on prices. Because as we said all along, the president promised when he was campaigning the prices would go down day one.
Mm-hmm.
We said that back then it was a promise he should not make because prices will not go down. And if they do go down where you notice it, we're probably in a major recession if that happens.
Right.
When the administration came out and promoted the fact they were celebratory, see, tariffs long term, reduce the cost of goods and services. They didn't tell you the reason why. Because you go into a recession, people have no money, inventory skyrockets. Because we're in a recession, prices go down. That is not what you want. Right. And they were actually promoting that as a good thing.
Right.
This is how panicky they are right now. Because when you promote something like that, where you can easily go in, because every economist said, well, yeah, but it's because you go into a recession.
Right. Well, I'm wondering if the tease is again going to allude to this $2,000 tariff check, because that was brought up in the conversation yesterday when it was announced he was going to make that.
I think it has
address.
To be, but when are you going to get that check?
And when are you going to get? And it's contingent on SCOTUS.
Yeah,
it has to be, because if SCOTUS overturns the tariffs based on authority, then the checks that are going to be written are going to be to the importers.
All right, let me ask you this question. What's the new message? If you don't have a new message, you don't speak. Because what's the new message?
There isn't anything new that you can announce.
Because if you're saying we're going to get, if the president comes out and repeats the same thing, you're going to get the $2,000 check because we're taxing foreign governments. Everyone knows that's not true now. Everyone. There isn't anybody that doesn't know that's not true. And we know that because Scott Bessent has said it over and over again that it's a tax on American companies. In the Supreme Court debate, the administration's lawyers agreed that corporations and people of the United States pay the tariffs.
Right.
So if he's going to repeat the same thing, if he's going to continue to Biden his own administration, Was that too tough of a word?
No.
If he's going to continue to Biden his administration on economic issues like Biden did, which is, I believe, one of the two major reasons that that Harris lost last year, and Biden had to pull out because he was so unpopular.
Yeah. Well,
it was on prices and their denial that prices weren't bad.
Well, and the administration would need Congress to help with that $2,000 check. How's that going to happen?
That's what they're talking about. That's why the Republicans are talking about. That's what would be in the big, beautiful Bill 2.0.
Right.
So they may
We're going to try and get this pushed.
Well, they may be doing it irrespective of whether they get the tariffs or not.
Maybe. We're just going to do it as a tax refund if it doesn't if it ends up not being tariffs.
You'll get Democrat votes.
Oh, yeah. Handing out money?
Yeah.
All day.
But what's the new message if you don't do that? Because everything is indicated. It's what you've heard across the board. The advice we're giving to the president, populist economic message. What's a populist economic message? What does that mean?
Free money.
Free money.
That's it.
And that's what they talked about in the big, beautiful Bill 2.0 that the Republicans want to do, which is getting more money into people's pockets. How do you do that in the next couple of months?
It's what Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Reports told the president in that sit-down, that lunch he had at the White House with the president a month ago.
Redistribution of wealth, more government spending.
Yep. That's what that is. And, I mean, if his attempt is the opposite of the Malaise speech, yay, rah, 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 it has to come with it has to come with an exclamation point, and that exclamation point, when Levitt says he's going to tease something for 2026, that's what it is. Free money at whatever level.
Please, God, don't make it. I'm praying again. Thoughts and prayers. Don't make it a Malaise speech again.
Yeah, or the opposite of Malaise. For him, it's going to be, rah, rah, rah.
Yeah, but it was close to Malaise last week when he's telling people not to buy stuff.
Mm-hmm. I want to really get into the words that are written. This is going to be a primetime address. They're writing this speech. I'm not sure how involved Susie Wiles will be in that process. But they're writing this. They will phrase it in order to, again, get something to this. You're trying to accomplish something through that phrasing when you're talking about a primetime address.
I can't even tell you how much, and I was like 24 years old when the Malaise speech came out. I can't tell you how much I hated that speech.
Yeah.
Even as a 24-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It was like blaming, don't tell me what I have to do. The last thing I wanted as a 24-year-old was the President of the United States criticizing me for the state of the country.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And by the way, I was working 2 jobs at that time. Mm-hmm. I was working like crazy. It's like I had more work than I could. It's like
right out of the last playbook. We can all do better.
And I was actually pretty optimistic, and I was not in radio, which is why I was optimistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. You hadn't killed your optimism for good yet.
Right. We are Red Eye Radio.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. This is really incredible, Eric, that 10 years ago in North Carolina, there were 750,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans in North Carolina 10 years ago. Now, 1,000 more Democrats. Republicans are going to take over probably very soon.
Wow.
In the next couple of months.
Interesting.
The Democrat brand is so bad. And that's why, overall, if I look over the next couple of decades, I'm very, very optimistic. Number one, the debt's become so great, it's going to limit what you can spend on the federal government level.
Right.
It's just going to limit.
Right.
And so, that's a good thing. But when you look at the culture wars And we were in over the last 10, 15, 20 years. We were in where the left just rose to the point of insanity. I just see that going in the opposite direction. And if the Republicans can get the right candidates out there, and I'm not just talking about next term, next year.
Right.
They could still lose, but I'm talking 10 to 20 years.
Long term, yeah.
Long term. I still don't see the Democrats taking over just because who's going to pay for it.
Right.
That's why it's going to be fascinating to see the experiment in New York City.
Oh, I can't wait. That will start here in a matter of days.
Yep.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.